Hi, neighbor. What's good? It's been 6 freaking weeks. I've missed you so much. This is Novels and Bits podcast, which is about Katie, and I'm so excited to be here after a very long time. I've actually been doing podcasts, but I've been doing on NUDE app because I happen to get a sponsorship with them. And if you've been following me on socials, you'll see me promoting it. So I have done 3 stories on there. It's similar to the way we do podcasts here. So you can go listen. If you use an Android, it's a much smoother experience. If you use an Apple product like me, it's really harder because the app has some glitches they are yet to remedy, but I hope they will anyway. So the last story we've been doing on this podcast is from Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. I did one Mariana Zapata book on the other podcast, so you want to hear that one too. It's so nice. It's about a footballer and the girl who used to work for him that he used to mistreat. Anyhow, that was that one. This one is about ice skaters who have to partner up together, although they hate each other's guts. It's a real enemy to lovers. I love this particular one, actually. It was so good. It is so good. I am going to apologize for the audio quality of the last 2 or 3 episodes. Man, do you believe I used a microphone and that audio quality came out like that awful? So for now, until something better comes my way by God's mercy and grace, I'm just going to keep using my phone. And honestly, this audio is better than using that one. It was so not good. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to trouble your eardrums, your ears like that again. So for that reason, I'm just going to do a recap. So if you're just joining in here, you don't have to go to the other episode. Let's continue from here on, please. Going to recap in less than 3 minutes or so that we continue where we left off, and we'll continue the story. So from Lukov with Love essentially just started with Jasmine thinking that this is the end of the road. She's 26 years old. She's never won any major championship in skating, and she's been doing this like more than half her life since she was like 10 or so, and she's 26 right now. 16 years, nothing to show for it. So she's feeling frustrated, but ice skating is her dream, right? Meanwhile, Ivan, on the other hand, is not like her. He's 30, and this guy has been winning championships back to back since his teenage years. Now, he has a habit of changing partners every couple of years, like ice skating partners. There's something called singles in skating, when it's just like a solo skater doing her thing or doing his thing. And then pair skating. Pair skating is the one where you see the man and the woman being so synchronized, to string her up and doing really dangerous maneuvers. That stuff is crazy impressive. This time, Ivan just won a championship, just finished his season, because there's something called seasons in all of this athletic sports things. So he just finished his season, but then there was this rumor circulating that his partner is taking the season off, Mindy or Bindi, whatever her name was. And it does not occur to Jasmine at all that she could actually be the person who will be considered for his next partner, because they've known each other since she was 16 or younger. She's his younger sister Karina's best friend, but it doesn't mean they've gotten along for one day. And it's all just because Jasmine sometimes does not know how to talk. She doesn't mean to come off as mean, and Ivan too does not know how to be chill with her. He just reacts, and they're always exploding and being all antagonistic towards each other. So right now, it is even his coach, I think, that suggests that, let's ask Jasmine, you only just need this partner for a year. Let her be the person that works with you. She's really good. She works hard. So when they tell Jasmine, she can't believe it. She thinks they're joking, because she's like, me and Ivan will kill each other, basically. But over some agreements and knowing that she really wants this, and it might actually be her chance to win a medal, because, Ivan is not known to be a loser, and she's a hard worker. Together, they can make it happen. Besides, her own partner, dropped her like hot potatoes. Imagine they're meant to take a month's break. But instead of this guy to have the decency to call her to say he does not want to partner with her again, she had to learn from the news that he has another partner. So the way he left her, coupled with the fact that Jasmine doesn't exactly have good press. They normally just tend to video her in the worst light and put it out on media. Any kind of athletic sports like this that goes on TV, you do realize that people supporting you is not just based on your talent alone, but based on your likability. So it's part of the reasons why she's not been able to go find her career. But Ivan is loved. So partnering with him would do both of them much good. You get, so she has settled that with herself. So now this is training day 1. Normally the coach is always there. She does not like to leave them, because if you leave them, they'll start bantering. Somehow they should just get into it. But I don't know how the coach Lee managed to leave for a short time. And Ivan was on his own there, and she was on her own. And she went to her family group chats. She has divorced parents, and she's the last of 5 children from her own mother. But because of her divorced parent status, they have 2 family group chats. One is just their dad that is in that group chat, no mom. Then the other one, just their mom is there, no dad. First of all, they started this chat on the group that it was just their mom there. And they were now saying something like, that you did not tell us that you're back in competitive skating. She hasn't told anybody yet that she's Ivan's partner except her mother, because she doesn't want them to get their hopes up. She wants that if there's any disappointment, let only her bear it, that her family has borne too much disappointment on her head. That sort of thinking process. So she's just laughing at the way that they're all agitated about the whole thing. So as she's just quietly laughing to herself, Ivan now asked her that Meatball was funny. He's been calling her Meatball for years. He now can't even sit beside her. She just told him in a snarky tone that it's his nudes that she's watching. He now said, that you know what makes me laugh? Is seeing when your partner dropped you during a desperate Russian Cup last year. And that's a touchy subject for her. So he just winced like, ouch, that must have hurt. And that's just a mean thing to just bring up. So they ended up bantering until Coach Lee had to interrupt them from behind. She was exasperated. As per, can both of you not behave? Even if it was 2 minutes, can you not form? Even both of them as she's there, they looked at each other. Yes, they're not talking out loud, but they're just mouthing to each other. One of them said, you suck. Both of them, like, you can read their lips and see what they're saying. The other person was like, you eat shit. Like, what the heck? Stop already. So after rounding off the training, Coach Lee was like, I want to see both of you in my office in 5 minutes. Jasmine happened to be the first person to get there. And Coach Lee was on a call that looked uncomfortable, like a personal life crisis of sorts. And Jasmine was uncomfortable to be there witnessing this thing, because she doesn't know if to say, let me offer to hear what it's about, maybe be a listening ear, or I should mind my business. Like, what should I do? So when she offered Coach Lee, can I hear what this is about? And Coach Lee was like, don't worry, it's okay. And man, she was like, oh, thank God. She's like, I wouldn't even have known what to answer. I just asked out of courtesy. Then, in that few short break before Coach Lee said saying what she wanted, when she was just like looking around for maybe 1 or 2 or settling off some 1 or 2 on her phone, Jasmine was on her phone and she went through the family group chat again. The other one that it was just their father. And she saw that her father said that, he's coming around in September. After their parents divorced, her father moved to another state, started a new family, but he comes around to see these children from his first marriage sometimes. So as they said that thing, one of her sisters, Jasmine has 2 older sisters, one of her sisters was like, I think Jasmine will be competing by then, that's September. So her father was like, she's competing again? I thought she quit. And seeing that thing, Jasmine felt bitter, because it's mostly been her mother who has been supporting her skating dreams, her figure skating dreams. And figure skating is expensive. Her father has been telling her since to quit and go and get a real job, go to college and things like that. So Coach Lee now finally faces Jasmine and said, the reason I called you to my office is that you need a pictogram on Facebook. They call it pictogram here instead of Instagram, but okay. And the thing is, Jazz had deleted her socials in the past because of creepy stalkers. Imagine people sending you photos of them jacking off to the pictures you posted. That's creepy enough to just let you shut down the whole thing. But she doesn't tell Coach Lee this, who goes ahead to suggest that, it would be so cool if you and Ivan have a joint page so that you can show that you're getting along great and stuff. But because of the way she's presenting the picture, Jasmine just like, are you asking me to pretend to date Ivan? Like, are you asking us to pretend? Because she was like, he's not here, just rink mates that are getting along. Because here's the thing, there's an old video that is out there on social media. In that old video, what actually happened was that Ivan told Jasmine that she should stop competing. And that's a very hard thing to tell someone who this has been their whole life. So her reply to him was rude in accordance with what he said to her. But then the person who took that video did not take Ivan's own side. You only posted Jasmine's own side of being rude to him. Do you understand? So he put her in a bad media light. So that whole, both of you should have an account. It's like to show that both of you get along great and affect public sway. So Ivan came in the middle of the conversation. The reason he joined them late is he was swarmed by fans that wanted autographs, so he had to sign autographs. So Jasmine just blurted out that Coach Lee wanted them to pretend to date. Coach Lee just rolled her eyes like, that's not it. She's just being overly dramatic right now. But Coach Lee's expression, the way she looked at Ivan, that expression is suspicious. Because why her eyes suddenly bigger than usual? Why is she pouting and now begging Ivan? That's the kind of body language a lover would exhibit. So is Ivan maybe secretly sleeping with his coach or secretly dating her? What is going on between both of them? Do you get? So Ivan agreed that he can put up a public front. You get? It's not like I'm marrying her. It's not like we're having a kid together. So because of that statement, Jasmine was like, hey, I will not have your kid for $1 million. So he was like, you're not even my type. But regardless, I can do it. I can pretend to get along with you, although I don't know about you. Because of that thing, she got angry. Like, if you can do it, I can do it too. I can be civil. That's when Coach Lee now told them that actually both of you have an interview coming up next week. That is for Sports Documented. Sports Documented is a magazine issue that is one of the highest selling in the world. And as she brings it up, Coach Lee looks red, like she's blushing. But Jasmine kind of understood why, because she's head of Sports Documented. She's in the sports world, even though she might not be number one. Basically, Sports Documented means that naked photos are required of the athletes. It's not like they show the private parts, but basically, this person took nude photos and it's there. It's meant to be an anatomical issue, parts of the body. So she said she could do it. Jasmine, she could do the nude photos thing, provided it's just high loan. Because here's the thing. When you're in this line of work, maybe you're a ballet person, you are a gymnast, you're a dancer, you're a model, there are certain lines of work that will kill all form of decency, in quotes, in you. Because they're constantly surrounded by teams, they're swarming around you, limited time to change. You just have to learn to strip down, whether people are there or not. Wear your clothes back, as long as nobody's touching inappropriately. Do you get? So it's just some of those occupational hazards sort of thing. But then, Coach Lee now said, you're not actually doing this thing alone. You're doing it with Ivan. So she said, no, it's different. I can't do this thing with Ivan. And the reason why Jasmine does not want to do this thing with Ivan is he's not a stranger, but he makes mean comments about her body, or rather he used to in the past. He would just be like, oh, small chest. She had a big ass initially. Just some things about her body that he used to comment on in the past. But I should just refuse that she's going to do this thing. Ivan was like, remember, you gave your word that you do whatever is necessary to ensure we have a smooth partnership. So she just looked up to the ceiling and she just said, can I do this thing? She just remembered all the things wrong with her body. Basically, small chest. She has a belly button, like a large, notable belly button, her vagina lips. All those things that he may get to see, because they would have to take naked pictures side by side and they don't even like each other. She just told herself, get over it. Like, it's going to be quick. Then the answer she now just looked at him and said is, I don't want to see your junk though. Ivan, meatball. It's a good part. Like, prodding her, basically. So on the day that they were to have the physical interview for Sports Documented, normally interviews like this, they have the written part. It can come on one day and then the pictures can come on another day. The pictures are not going to come until later. So just for the physical talking interview, the person that's going to interview, the person didn't come on time, although their practice was cut short for that. The purpose of, they are going to do this interview today. So Ivan was sitting next to her, even though she was looking at him like, go and sit elsewhere. He just said no. So let her go across and sit. He blocked her with his leg because the way she was sitting, she was backed into a corner. She has to pass him to go anywhere. He just said no. So she had to sit there, kept bumping her thighs. And she too was shaking because of nerves. That's when Ivan now asked her what she's doing after this interview. And he's basically asking her this thing to get her mind off the nerves. And he presses so hard, even though she wants to ignore him. But the way he just keeps asking and asking in different variations of it reminds her of her own family members and how they keep bugging her most of the time. So she was like that she's going to work. And he's surprised that she actually works. But she doesn't tell him where she's working because she doesn't want him to show up there and bug her for any reason. Jasmine just keeps wondering, when is this interview going to show now? This interview, let the person show already, let's go. Then in the process, Ivan just takes this time to now start asking her questions like, why don't you like the media? She really doesn't. I mean, apart from the socials of the crepe house, she really doesn't like the media. So Jasmine says it's because it twists words to make it controversial. Because one time she said that she thought the judging system was rigged. And the media translated it to she doesn't think the winners deserved it. The winners of the ice skating competition that year. And because of that translation, she got hate email for months. Another time, Jasmine complimented someone's beautiful T-spin is a move in figure skating. And media translated it to she said that's the only thing that person is good at. So Ivan was quiet, hearing her own side of the story. He now suddenly asked, so you never said you thought the WHK Cup was rigged? She had to say, I actually said it, although it was a scoring system I had an issue with. But that was changed years ago and it's better. It's no longer a subjective perfect 6.0 score, but individual elements that judge separately. And she had said that thing out of anger that year. And she doesn't even know who took note of it the way they did. Ivan and his partner then hadn't been perfect in that competition, but neither had she. So she felt she deserved better and felt like, why did they not give her a better score? That if it wasn't rigged, what else? That's when Ivan now had to start laying out her flow in that particular competition because he was there too. And he was definitely much higher in scoring than she was. He now told her, first of all, yes, you landed fine, but your choreography was atrocious. There was no expressions in your performance. There was no chemistry between you and your partner. And then your music was terrible. It sucked. So Jasmine was like, okay, I take all that corrections. Because she knows that he has impeccable taste in music. I mean, she's seen his musical performances, his floor work, his ice skates and all that. So that's when both of them now start distributing what each of them have to look out for together. Like, okay, Ivan, your part, you take care of the music, and me, I take care of this. I look at the thing here. In teamwork, there is no I, we're a team. But then when we win eventually, I would say I won, you say you won, right? So we can argue about costumes, about Creole later, but you are not going to pick the costumes. You cannot be in charge of the costumes, Ivan. Because do you remember that your mambo costume? The mambo costume was what actually started the whole beef between them. When she walked up to him and told him, I think he was 16 and she was 16 and he was 20 or so, and he was about to go for his first world championship, national championship, and he came to practice with his partner at the time. So after, she just walked up to him and told him that his costume is ugly, instead of processing the criticism in a better way. So with that, he was angry. He now looked down her hand and told her, go away, that kind of thing, and they've been enemies ever since. So he now pulled out the card of, who's the national champion? Who's the world champion? Who's the Olympic champion? And when she couldn't answer, he just smiled, still be like, I thought so. Talk about pettiness, like downright pettiness. So Jasmine just told him, you're annoying. I want to punch you. Shut up. He just laughed. And Jasmine was like, you know what? You bribe the judges with your Russian mafia money because he's Russia. Ivan Lukov, that's his name, Lukov. And he just said laughing harder. Because here's the thing, I mentioned earlier that Jasmine is best friends with Ivan's younger sister, Karina. And Ivan's family, they have a lot of money. They even own that complex, LC. The Lukov complex, the ice skater. Many people pay huge money to practice there. So in their younger days now, Jasmine had asked Karina, how is that your parents have a lot of money? Karina was like, I don't know. Maybe they were in the mafia. When a child is not really sure what makes their parents money, and she just says a random thing. So that thing stuck in Jasmine's head, even though she knows it's not really true. But as she just said it, Ivan was just like, so loser. Jasmine now retorted, you probably cry in your Tesla every time you wrinkle your sweaters. Because Ivan always looks flawless. Why do you look flawless? Is that even normal? So seeing him laugh, she's thinking, this is actually the first time I'm seeing this guy laugh. Maybe he smiled a time or two around Karina, but besides that, nothing. So in the middle of him laughing, that was when the journalist now walked in, Amanda. So it kind of maybe gave her this whole, okay, they're getting along type of air. So at least it created a sort of good first impression. So she made introductions, they all made introductions. It went round. And what's the background? The background of them now being partners. They're like, oh yeah, we've known each other for 14 years. Wow, that's been a long time. So the journalist was like, so I'm guessing this has been an overdue partnership. Oh, well, it has. Ivan had a very tight tone, and then Jasmine was trying not to laugh because she knows, which partnership, who dashers. The journalist brought up that video. Jasmine was telling Ivan off. That time he told her she should quit competing in ice skating. And, they just had to come up with the fact that, yeah, we were messing with each other back then. It's not like we didn't get along kind of thing. They now brought up Jasmine's her ex-partner, Paul, the one that abandoned her, dumped her, whatever it was. And the worst part is the new person that Paul went to go and choose as his partner. Paul is the name of Jasmine's ex-partner. The person he's training with, Mary McDonald, she's someone who isn't nice. At least Ivan's former partner, this one that they're saying took a season off. Jasmine liked the person because she was nice, you get. But this person that Paul went to pick on, this Mary McDonald person, is a mean person. Jasmine never got along, and of all persons to choose to be your partner after dumping Jasmine had to be that girl. So that's a slight on Jasmine, really, it is. So before the journalist could go more into kind of bringing up about Paul, what is it that happened between him and Jasmine to cause that kind of action from him, Ivan had to ban the journalist, or more or less remind her, almost nicely, but with his teeth baring, that questions about former partners are banned. At a point, the journalist now asked Jasmine, do you have any criticism for Ivan? She was like, no, I don't. Then everyone was like, oh, Jazz is too nice. In her mind, she was like, since when did he call me Jazz? So they had this part of the interview that was now 20 question speed, in terms of, we're going to ask you to answer the favorite thing of the other person. So the journalist started this 20 question speed in terms of, you are going to answer for the other person, in the sense of favorite color. Ivan is going to answer for Jasmine's own. Jasmine is going to answer for Ivan's own, because they want to see how well the partners know each other. So they now started. They started by asking Jasmine, what is Ivan's favorite color? She was like, his favorite color is black. In her mind, she was like, color of your heart. Then he said red, as per color of children you eat. And then Jasmine was like, actually, her favorite color is pink. Then for favorite food, she just guessed escargot because it sounded fancy and he's rich. She just thinks that he probably likes a fancy food. But his favorite food is actually pepperoni, something very common. Pizza, pepperoni pizza for him. While her own, he guessed that her favorite food is chocolate cake. And she was surprised that he knew. Like, you actually observed that about me. Therefore, for both of them, the favorite move they both like, they both like triple losers. There'll be a whole lot of triple losers in their routine since they both like that move. The final question is, if Ivan weren't a figure skater, what else would he be? That's what they asked Jasmine, and she was like, nothing. That figure skating is basically his life. That she can't remember him trying to be another thing other than a figure skater. Then when they asked him, what about her? He's like, that's the same thing. And neither of them had dated seriously, both choosing to focus on their own careers. They asked Jasmine, books or magazines for Ivan. She said, magazines. But then picture books for Jazz. She prefers picture books. And the reason why Ivan knows this fact is, he noted that his sister is normally the one who reads off menu for Jasmine. And the fact, when he said this thing, she went so quiet that Ivan knows of her learning disability, because she learned all that she knows with audiobooks and practicals. She didn't really read because she has dyslexia. As he was leaving, Ivan was trying to call her back and wanted to call her Meatball. He now said, Meat, Jasmine. He now waved her goodbye. And she's off to work, because when it ended, she just has to go to work. So the next day, they're practicing on the rink. And Ivan feels like Jasmine is mad at him for something, and she keeps denying it. And then he now just reminded her, well, whatever it is, do not get your hopes up. Our partnership is only for a year. He was just trying to say this thing to rip her off normally, as per, let's get you in the zone of fighting me back. And she just annoyed. She just replied, see, you don't shit golden eggs. And he doesn't get the reference. You get that reference of you don't shit golden eggs, like the mother geese reference. The geese that used to give birth to golden egg every morning. That farmer was taking one and became so rich, but greedy farmer got so greedy he killed the golden geese to get all the eggs once, but there was nothing inside and he lost his fortune. Do you understand? So the thing now made Ivan now ask, what's that thing you're talking about, golden eggs? Is there another picture book? Then she now asked him, what's wrong with picture books? Then that was when he was like, oh, that's a problem. I knew you were mad at me. Is it because I said something about you liking picture books? Because he knows that he has said worse things to her and she was not mad. But this particular thing got on her nerves. So they were in the middle of arguing when Coach Lee entered and they had to just focus on training full time. After the training, Jasmine's car just chose to break down. After running through the list of options, what am I going to do about this car that just broke down? She now called her uncle, who's a mechanic. But unfortunately, he was out of town and he would not return until the next day. And Jasmine was just hurting, because her entire body was paining her. during the training with Ivan, because they're still learning how to hold each other. He's still learning to hold her. They're still learning to skate side by side. They're still going through those preliminaries of trying to be partners. So in the process of learning to hold her, he had dropped her 3 times on ice, and ice feels like concrete. So imagine being dropped on that thing. So her whole body is paining her. And all she was just looking forward to is to get home, soak herself in ice baths that she does not like. Mind you, that thing is hell on torture, but it's necessary. Right now, she's just pulling out her duffel bag because she doesn't know what to do again. Her uncle just told her, leave the thing there. When I come back, I'll look at it. Just go home. But Ivan now showed up, just like next to her window, and now offered her a ride. She was just arguing with him, like, I don't want to follow you. This is why I don't want to follow you. And he was like, are you going to keep arguing with me? That's if families are coming around, they'll see both of us arguing, and that's not a good sight. Let's keep up the facade. So that's how she now ended up entering his car. And then in the car, he now offered, can we just be friends? And she's just thinking, you're argumentative, you're arrogant, you're blunt. And then it dawned on her, wait, I'm describing myself. All these things I'm calling him is basically everything I am. Maybe that's why I don't get along with him, because he's like me. And then she now remembers that they also share similar life. They basically being ice skaters, minding their business. She's like, could it be? He's just like me. So Ivan just took back his friendship request. And Jasmine, out of pride, refused. Like, you can't take it back. You've already offered. That, look, we're going to try. He now dropped her off in front of her house. But in front of her house were 3 cars, which means her siblings came to visit. Although all her siblings had moved out and it's just her who lives with her mother and her mom's latest husband, her siblings come around often, her older siblings. So she waved him goodbye, like, okay, you've dropped me, oh yeah, go. But then he turned off the car and then now innocently asked, can I use the bathroom? She looked at him like, no way. She knows what he's trying to do. He's trying to find a reason to enter her house. And for what reason, she does not know. Do you understand? So as she just invited him into the bathroom, they happened to be passing the kitchen where he now started greeting everybody. And just like that, I don't think he ever even used that bathroom again. So he met Ben. Ben is her mother's husband, Jasmine's mother's husband, very young person. Her mother is older than by maybe 25 years old. Ruby, her sister, is around. Ruby, very pretty, smallish one. And she has children. She's married with children. Her children are sleeping upstairs. And everybody's trying to be quiet. So her siblings were playing Jenga. There was Jojo's husband, James. There was Ruby. There was Aaron, who is Ruby's husband. And then Jazz's oldest sister, Tally. So Ivan got to witness firsthand their family banter. Like her brother Jojo, he was in the Marines or something. He just asked Jasmine, would you push me out of the way of the car? Jasmine was like, no, but I'll pick the flowers and bring it to your funeral. You know that kind of mean jokes, the kind of jokes that Jasmine and Ivan are kind of falling into, but it's much meaner. That sort of thing. That's what she has. That kind of banter is what she has with her siblings on a regular basis. James is Jojo's husband, but James is like legit so handsome that oftentimes Jasmine used to wonder, what does he see in my brother? Like, why is he still here? When James was being introduced to Ivan, I was like, oh yeah, you're my fourth favorite figure skater. Jasmine was like, who is your first, second, third favorite figure skaters then? James looked at her sweetly and said, of course it's you, Jasmine, honey. You occupy the top 3 spots. And that was just so sweet. So against her will and what she would like to do, she had to leave Ivan in the kitchen so that she can rush up to bathe. I mean, they both basically came from the same training, but she's the one sweating buckets and on the brink of smelling, and he's just there sitting. That was the fastest bathe she had in her life, because she was afraid of what they would be telling Ivan about her in her absence. And true to her suspicions, when she came down, they were all talking in low tones, but she crept closer to the kitchen. She was not overhearing them, sharing her most embarrassing moments and her feisty ones to Ivan. That Jasmine didn't hit puberty until 16, that she was quite chunky or chubby, that there was even a time she punched her older sister Tally for throwing her favorite movie in the garbage. Tally was 18, Jasmine was 10. So even a time Jasmine got kicked out of daycare for kicking a boy who pushed her down and later tried to look up her skirts. Like, very sassy kid. So she had to just interrupt them, like, that's enough, y'all. So soon enough, mealtime came up. Her mom invited Ivan to stay to eat. So this is them going all in a straight line to get food. And Ivan happens to be in front of her on the line. He now told her, see, because you've been raising hell since daycare, I'll let you know if someone bothers me so that you can deal with them. So she just asked him, why are you even here? He now told her that, okay, the reason he forced himself in is because part of being friends is knowing each other's families. That you know my family, but I don't know yours. So speaking of friends, they're now like, oh my God, Karina is my only real friend that I'm not related to. Besides my siblings, Karina is the only real friend I'm not related to. And can you imagine that neither of us has spoken to Karina recently to inform her that we're partners? Yeah. Both of them were thinking that, oh my gosh, Jasmine, you didn't tell your best friend Karina that you're partners with me. And then Jasmine is now telling Ivan, you didn't tell your sister that you're partners with me. In Jasmine's defense, like, she doesn't talk much with Karina because Karina is busy with medical school. So Ivan nodded. And then the next thing that came out of his mouth was just the thing that Jasmine was so afraid of. He was like, she's going to kill us. They're like, okay, we have to call her. They were now arguing about who gets to call her. No, you get to call her. Oh, no, you get to call her. So Jojo, Jasmine's older brother that was there, now suggested that why don't you just both do a video call right now, and why don't you just do a video call her so that she gets mad at both of you at the same time? Isn't that better? So after they both take their food, they sit side by side. He now gave her a paper towel because she was too short to reach the center table to get it for herself. Like Ivan got a paper towel for Jasmine. And he just been nice today for no reason. This is the second time. And she had to tell him thank you, apart from dropping her off and I'm fetching a paper towel. So it almost hurt her to even say that thank you because she's not used to telling him thank you. So Jasmine's mother now started asking Ivan hard questions. That why are you only pairing up with Jasmine for a year? Because this is something that Jasmine has been wondering about and been paining her, like, why can't you maybe pair with me for like 3 years or something? And the bold question that her mother just threw out there just sent Jasmine into a coughing or choking section. Like, why would you ask that thing so loud and embarrass me? So it was even Ivan that patted her on the back until the bread that was in her throat flew out. So that wasn't her mom continued peppering him with questions. So how far are your parents now? Yeah, your grandfather. I've been hearing that he's been asking you to move to Russia. Apparently, his grandfather used to ask every other year. And I don't know how Jasmine's mother used to know every other person's gist. Because Ivan seems uncomfortable from the way he was just replying her. Jasmine just had to help by turning attention to herself, even though that's not what she wants. She just had to blurt out that she's doing a naked photo shoot, you know. And Jojo, who is the most conservative, he had the most protests. Like, why would you want to do a naked photo shoot for that magazine? Don't do it. And she was like, what? It's just my butt cheek that it's going to show. Yes, millions will see it. And in her mind, she just remembered, oh my God, millions will see it and will jerk off to it. It's her mom that had to come to her rescue and now told of Jojo that stop being sexist, that it's for art because Jasmine is beautiful, she's strong, she has a honed body from hours of practice. So Jojo was like, Mommy, just stop. Stop telling me about my younger sister's naked body for crying out loud. Meanwhile, Jasmine and Ivan, they're trying not to laugh because Jojo is legit turning red. Well, serves him right. So to cut off mother's rant, Jasmine had to ask Ivan that let's call Karina already and let her know. Let's not prolong this thing anymore. So Tali, Jojo and Mom, they were there when they called Karina. So Karina picked at the last string and she was panting. And honestly, the thing now gave Jasmine ideas like, I hope I did not call her when she was in the middle of doing something bad. But fortunately, it was just a trade meal. And then she now just told her, oh yeah, I've got something to say. Then the next thing Karina just asked her is, are you pregnant? Because your life would be over. And that's when Jasmine had to tell her, you're on speaker. And no, I'm not pregnant. So when Karina heard that she was on speaker, she was like, hey, my other family. Because she spends a lot of time at Jasmine's house. And yeah, they're really that close. Then Jasmine now told her, hey, your brother and I are partners. He's actually here. And there was an entire minute of silence. And they were waiting for Karina's reaction. Then next thing, Karina started laughing. And Jojo was disappointed. But at that moment when she was taking time to answer, Jojo was like, yeah, she's going to chew both of you out for not telling her. But then Karina was laughing and Jojo was disappointed that she's not mad at them. Karina was just like, the two most stubborn people I know partnering up. Oh my God, this is going to be so fun to watch. I'm buying all the tickets. This is Hunger Games on ice. This is my 14 years dream finally come true. Oh my gosh. And they're like, okay, what the heck are you expecting to come out of this, Karina? So next thing, we're going to see finally the day of the photo shoot for Sports Documented. And it happens a week after the dinner. And yes, it's true that she's getting along better with Ivan at this point. But it's, when she agreed to do this photo shoot thing, she forgot about her stalkers and all of them jacking off and things like that. But right now it's on her mind, and not just that, but the fact she's going to be doing this with Ivan, and a lot of things are just coming up for her, and it might probably ruin everything. So let's see how that really happens from the next episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, Nibber, and I am so sorry if I were taking like short breaks in between. I'm trying to regain my talking momentum, if that makes sense, but thank you so much for putting up with me regardless. See you in the next episode. Bye.